Part 8.
Requirements on sanitation and food safety for domestic inter-island vessel, port and airport, terminal and food service establishment. Section 47. Sanitation and food safety. The Bureau shall take all necessary steps to ensure the maintenance of the sanitary environment within domestic ports and airports, including the supervision and control of the sanitation of inter-island vessel, food service establishment and terminal in coordination with port, airport, and shipping authorities. These measures are in the line the provision of PD 856, otherwise known as the Sanitation Code of the Philippines, particularly Chapter 17, Port, Airport, Vessel, and Aircraft Sanitation. Section 47.2, Sanitary Facility Requirements for Inter-Island Vessel. 47.2.1 provides adequate and proper storage of portable waters aboard ship with sanitary safeguard from the shore water distribution system. 47.2.2 adopt good manufacturing practice for food safety and sanitation on board ship. 47.2.3 provide hand washing toilet facility and approve sewage disposal and drainage system. 47.2.4 provide adequate and safe accommodation facilities for crew or passenger. 47.2.5 provide a sanitary storage and approve waste disposal system. 47.2.6 maintain pest and vermin control. Section 47.3 Sanitation Facility Requirements of Port Terminal Catering Points and Food Service Establishment. 47.3.1 Company with local ordinance regarding the structural setup of the terminal in accordance with the National Building Code of the Philippines. 47.3.2 Sanitation Facility Requirements of Food Handlers Working in the Terminal. 47.3.4 Comply with the requirements of drinking water supply in coordinates with the Philippine National Standard of Drinking Water, waste and sewage disposal, vermin abatement program in the buildings and premises. Section 48 Food Safety Requirements. 48.1 Enhance the provision of sanitation and food safety in the area of responsibility at both domestic and international port and airport of entry, including in-flight catering, food service establishment, vessel, and aircraft. 48.2 Adopt the hazard analysis critical control point audit system and monitoring the food safety program implemented at the area of responsibility. 48.3 Ensure mandatory compliance of the good manufacturing practice, hazard analysis critical control points, provision and guidance values as a standard for the assessment of the sanitary and quality of food served by the food service establishment and in-flight catering points at ports and airports of entry, both domestic and international. 48.4 Comply with the physical, medical examination of stewards or food handler for the insurance of the health certificate. Section 49 Monitoring and Evaluation. The Bureau of Quarantine shall conduct a methodical examination and review of procedure and records of the program system with a detailed report of findings. Guidelines will be promulgated in establishing monitoring procedure and tracking system operation. Deviation from the standard requirements and establishment of the records for use and verification. Part 9 Requirements for cargoes and materials for medical transplant and research. Section 50 Regulation on Importation and Exportation of Cargo. 50.1 Cargoes that are considered to harbor vectors of infectious disease subject to the regulation emerging disease and public health emergency international concern. Cargoes from a plague-infected port that are vulnerable to harbor rats or fleas shall be fumigated prior to its unloading in the port. Many socks or jute bags are cargo wrapped with the same materials coming from the infected countries shall be fumigated prior to the release to the consignee unless covered by a valid fumigation certificate. Other cargoes that may carry vector-borne disease and or cargo potentially exposed to disease subject to the regulation, emerging disease and public health emergency of international concern of public health concern shall be subjected to quarantine measures. Cargoes containing hazardous materials, for example, radiological, biological, or chemical waste, are subject to stringent quarantine and inspection and measures. Section 51, Regulation on Importation and Exportation of Materials for Medical Transplant and Research. 51.1, Organs or tissue of human origin culture of bacteria or any live microbe or collection of organism that may cause any disease to human or insect, animal, or plant, and its product potentially capable of transmitting a disease to human shall not be admitted nor to be transported to or the Philippines with a specific permit issued by the director of the quarantine in coordination with concerned agencies such as veterinary, plant, fish, and wildlife quarantine. 51.2, organ tissues are specimens of human origin which are solely for medical clinical research are, are non-infectious shall secure quarantine permit or clearance prior to its admission or shipment. This shall accompanied by necessary documents or protocols secured from the Bureau of Food and Drugs. Part 6, Clearance of Human Remains. Section 52, Regulation and Clearance of Human Remains. 52.1, The admission of human remains into a country shall be governed by the following regulation. All human remains arriving at the Philippine port and airports coming from foreign countries shall be accompanied by the following documents for quarantine clearance: death certificate or true copy thereof with proper translation certified by the appropriate authorities from the country of origin, certification from the consul of the country of origin, certification that there is no existence of pestilence from the health authority of the country of origin, embalming certificates stating that the human remains have been properly embalmed and placed in a hermetically sealed casket, cremation certificate stating that the human remains have been properly cremated and the ashes shall be replaced by hermetically sealed urn or a similar container. Section 52.1.2, Death caused by a highly pathogenic organism and infectious disease subject to the regulation emerging disease are and public health emergency of international concern. The remains may be issued quarantine clearance under the following conditions. The remains should be cremated before a shipment case to grave public health threat posed by the disease. For other cases need no cremation. The casket should remain permanently sealed from the port of origin. The burial must take place within 24 hours after insurance of clearance of admission into the country. 52.2, Human remains for transport to foreign or domestic ports shall secure quarantine permit before shipment with following documents. 52.2.1, Death certificate or a true copy thereof. 52.2.2, Embalming certificate stating the human remains have been properly embalmed and placed in hermetically sealed casket. 52.2.3, Cremation certificate stating that the human remains have been properly cremated. The ashes shall be placed in a hermetically sealed or similar container. And thank you. That's all.